Let me tell you about a Tuesday 3 months ago. I had a call with one of our brokers who had 11 files in her pipeline, a realtor who needed a callback, 2 rate holds expiring, and a client who just sent her a panicked text about their income documents. Normal day, right? Except she also posted on LinkedIn, sent a personalized follow-up to a lead she hadn't talked to in 6 months, reviewed a 40-page lender policy update, and prepped for 3 calls all before lunch. She didn't hire an assistant. She didn't work until midnight. She built a system, and today we're going to show you exactly what that system looks like. Welcome to the Mortgage Broker Podcast, tailor-made for Canadian mortgage industry professionals. Proudly presented by A Better Way Mortgage Group, this podcast is your trusted source for insider insights, market updates, and strategies to elevate your career in the ever-evolving world of mortgage brokering. Whether you're a seasoned broker with A Better Way Mortgage Group or an industry enthusiast looking to stay ahead, our episodes are designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the Canadian mortgage space. Welcome, Jason, my co-host today. He's here to react, ask the questions brokers would ask, and keep things real. So, Jason, I mean, you've seen me go deep into this AI rabbit hole over the last, I guess, year, probably more than ever in the last 6 months. And, just from the outside looking in, I guess what's changed about, how I work, how we are all working now from a leadership team perspective and, just kind of what you've observed.
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty much just here to react. I think I'm probably like many of the people on this call that's really just starting to kind of dive into the AI portion of it. Definitely not an expert, but trying to tread my way into getting there. But I've told this story about you because it happened to me just a couple of weeks ago. We were flying to Toronto. I was sitting the row behind you and you were sitting just ahead of me, but just over my left shoulder. And the entire flight, I just saw you on the computer doing all this stuff, and it was just codes and everything popping out, and you did it straight the entire flight. And we got off the plane. I said, "What the hell were you doing?" You're like, "Well, I just built half of a course." And I was just blown away because here I am sitting on the plane trying to get a ChatGPT to refine an email for me. So, watching kind of how you've gone through this and really changed the landscape of efficiency and what we've been doing within A Better Way and a lot of the stuff that we've been building, I think the growth that we've had just in progress on what we can add to the brokerage to enhance not only our brokers' experience, but hopefully our brokers' clients' experience, it's just increasing exponentially. And I've just watched you kind of develop all of these things, and our business plan has completely changed in the course of 3 months, and it's all based on your diving into this very deep. So, I just see the efficiency of our company as just growing exponentially. And I'm just excited to kind of keep that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, things have definitely moved really quick in the last 30 days when it comes to AI and what's going on, what we've, been able to utilize and implement. I've been on top of this stuff. It's pretty much all I do outside of work, even within work. It's becoming a big part of my daily workflow is just to continue to build upon some of these tools and implement them into our day-to-day. And, most of it was initially just learning, trying to figure it out myself, find ways to be more efficient myself, whether it was email management, calendar management, and then, cascaded into building actual agents that are doing research and, scraping data and organizing folders. And literally, as of right now, we have 9 agents, AI agents working 24/7 around the clock, processing a number of things. Came a far way very quickly. We're recording this podcast and we're going to get it out immediately because, to be honest, some of the things we might talk about might not even be relevant a week from now. But I'd say the key points that I've noticed in, building these tools for, us selfishly, the leadership team now looking at, okay, the mortgage industry is stuck. Technology changed, how we submit files for a lot of folks. When you think of processing documents, analyzing reports, literally building profit and loss statements for self-employed borrowers based on bank statements, how we're communicating with lenders, how clients find us. But the actual day, the broker, the way a broker spends their hours hasn't really changed in 20 years. You still write every email, still manually check every lender guideline, still create every piece of marketing content from scratch. The tools got better, but the workflow didn't. And now, looking at where AI is, AI changes the workflow Like not even the tools. Like it really does change the workflow. And like that's the distinction I'd say most people miss is this isn't about replacing what you do. It's about compressing the repetitive digital work so you have more time for relationships, judgment calls, creative, problem solving. That's really where the opportunity is. The marketing timing of this, like right now, maybe 5% of brokers are using AI in a meaningful way, maybe even overestimating. And like when I say 5% of brokers using AI in a meaningful way, I mean like building actual tools and agents, not refining an email in ChatGPT, even above like building a GPT or a gem in Gemini to like, expedite a response or whatnot. Those are awesome, things to utilize it for. And that's probably like the 5% I'm talking about. The ones who build systems are going to have a massive head start. Not because AI is magic, but like it's compounding time savings. And over the next 18 months, that will be a complete flip number. Like in 18 months, I would say 95% of brokers will be using it in a meaningful way. And the ones that don't adopt it and use it, I don't believe they'll be mortgage brokers. Brokers using AI will replace brokers that are not.
Maybe just if I can kind of scale it back, I've had enough conversation with you on this, and I know you can go very deep. And you're talking about building agents and having, 24/7 workers within the company. Now, if you think about the 5% of us, and I would put myself in that, maybe a little bit north of the 5%, but for somebody that is operating, that's kind of in that phase right now of just refining emails or maybe making, tweaks and adjustments here or there, but really not utilizing it to what we know it can. When you started, how long did it really take you to become proficient in it? And I guess the reason why I'm asking is because listening to a lot of stuff that you just said, I could probably speak for many that are listening to this call. It's like, holy crap, like that's a lot of stuff to learn. Did you have a massive tech background, or is just this something that you and everyone else can self-teach and really learn how to do it if they put the time in? And kind of how long did it take you to feel comfortable in getting to the levels that you're at to operate in that kind of top level?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a loaded answer because I definitely had a tech understanding, built workflows with automation, APIs, those sorts of things when it came to like, our CRM and different tools that required an API. But that was really the extent of it. I didn't ever code. I never came from a tech background whatsoever. But I would say like just the understanding of like how an API functions probably gave me a bit of a head start. But like feeling comfortable, it's like, I mean, you feel uncomfortable every day because literally something new comes out every day. I started like everyone else. I tried ChatGPT, asked a generic question, got a generic answer. Wasn't really that impressed. Like really wasn't that impressed at the beginning. I mean, you saw some of the social media posts and emails that we would try to refine like, a year and a half ago, like loaded with emojis, like using words I did not use, like all sorts of weird stuff, right? Like it wasn't that impressive. But I'd say the turning point, like realized AI doesn't know mortgages because like nobody taught it mortgages. Like nobody taught it my tone, how I speak, what I do, what my background is. So, I built a library of mortgage specific prompts, like not write me an email or, write a pre-approval follow-up for a self-employed borrower who's concerned about qualifying with 2 years of business financials. Like that's when I started to realize, oh, okay, if I'm a little bit more descriptive, give it a little bit more context, like I'm getting a pretty cool output. Like that's specifically changed everything because the output went from generic to I could actually send this right now. Like that's the very beginning. And you continue to like figure it out by using it and trialing and erroring and you're just continuing to like add, but also staying up to speed. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've always listened to like business leadership podcasts and like entrepreneur sales type podcasts, which I still do. But I started to just be like, hey, I'm actually pretty interested in this AI stuff and just started to listen to a lot of podcasts and follow different accounts on social media around AI and people that are doing cool stuff with AI. Learn from that, try it. Doesn't work, figure it out with adding a bit more context and it starts to work. And then now here we are. And I just built Brain MB, which, we haven't even launched to our own brokers yet. We're about to very soon here. You look at Brain MB, which is the brain of a mortgage broker. Like there's multiple agents working on this thing at any given time. And basically what it is it's an AI lender policy database, like 7,200 policies like over 65 Canadian lenders, and it's searchable in seconds because like I realized like the biggest time sink in like a mortgage broker's practice is like hunting for lender guidelines. And eventually I realized like if I built this for myself as a broker, other brokers would definitely need it too. And then that's when it became okay, like this is where we're going. Like we got to build this tool and we got to show people how to understand and learn what I'm learning. And then that led to, you know, the AI course that we're about to launch as well for mortgage professionals, mortgage brokers.
Just to sit on the Brain MB, I mean, this is very fresh. I think you showed me the first demo of that, perhaps about a week or so ago. It's incredible. Every policy you could think of, every rate you can think of, it's constantly being updated to where all the information on it is accurate. Man, if I think back to when I started, if you wanted to know a lender policy, you'd have a BDM come to your office and throw a binder onto your desk instead, read through 50 pages and figure it out. Now you have every single lender, every single policy at the click of a button right in front of you. It could do comparison scenarios. It could suggest which is the best lender for what type of client you have. It's just incredible. And I know you put a lot of hours into the build of this, but to have all of that, if I looked at a program like that 6 months to a year ago, I would have assumed that it took you a year to put that together. But I think you did that in a matter of days. We launched the concept to our Alberta group in the mastermind that we had this week. Now, for those of you that have been in masterminds and have sat through a 4 or 5 hour session, towards the end of it, everyone's kind of fading away. The day's coming to an end. And that's one thing that we dropped at the very end to say, hey, this is what's coming out. This is what we're looking at doing. And I'll tell you, every single broker in that mastermind was glued to the screen and completely engaged in what was in front of them. And so much so to a point where we actually stayed half an hour over to just cover the complexity of this and like how it's going to help them from an efficiency standpoint, how it's going to help them when they're on the phone with the client and have to look at something right away. Well, it blew my mind. And looking at the faces in that room of the mastermind, it blew their mind too. And again, this is something that was put together, and I don't want to misquote you, but in a span of, call it a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's like, that's like kind of where this AI revolution is. The power of knowledge, like, doesn't really mean anything anymore. Like this, seasoned, experienced broker with 15 plus years, seeing thousands of deals, had an advantage, like does not have an advantage now. Maybe right this instant they do, but like where, something like a tool I just built, like, yeah, it took me about a week to build that and like fully ship it out, like a working concept in like a day. That is the brain. Like every piece of knowledge is there. Back to like using AI, implementing it, and having more time to advise your clients with, the knowledge of every single lender policy at your fingertips within seconds. You have an answer of exactly what somebody can do. That tool alone isn't going to replace somebody. Like a human being's still going to want a human being to like care about what they're going through and like, reason with them, and, advise them on what they would do. And like, I look at it as like, we have 3 broker types in Canada. And, that definitely holds true in our brokerage. Like there's 3 types. Like there's the skeptic, which is somebody that tried AI once, got a bad result, decided it doesn't work for mortgages, doesn't understand our industry, and they're right, and it doesn't mean anything, right? Because they just didn't teach it, right? Like that's kind of where I was initially at, like, going back a year and a half ago. And then there's like the dabbler, uses AI occasionally, maybe writes an email here, summarizes a document there, gets inconsistent results because they don't have a system. And like, they're probably getting maybe 10% of the value. And then there's like the operator, which, AI was woven into their entire practice. Every email, every lender review, every piece of content, every follow-up, it runs through a system. Like they're not working harder. They're not even working smarter. They just built the machine.
I'm concerned if you're the skeptic. I would say that it's proven itself enough that it's going to be here, whether we like it or not. The dabbler, I would say, is where I fit. I'm trying to grow a lot past that. I've been doing a lot of work on that over the past month or so. I would say that small percentage right now is in the operator phase, which is where you're really going to see the lift of what this could actually do for you. Back to your previous points, I think that operator category is going to grow exponentially in the very, very near future. But I mean, I'm currently sitting as the co-host of this podcast in the dabbler phase. So like a lot of you out there, I'm still here, and, we are going to put full motion forward to make sure people like me and people like yourselves go from that dabbler to operator phase?
I took a course. Tony Robbins put out an AI course. It partnered up with like the best AI engineers in the world, guys that started and built OpenAI to guys that are, a part of the Microsoft team with Copilot to some of the guys at Claude, like literally put the best of the best in this course. And I took that course and basically took everything I learned in that course and was like, okay, like how do I use this specifically for a mortgage broker and get everything out of this course for a mortgage broker, and then rebuilt it into a mortgage broker AI course. Like this episode and this course, it's about going from wherever you are to an operator. And like, that's the whole point. The biggest thing I would say, and like, we were talking to Gary Morris yesterday, him and Renee had just done an AI segment on their goal getter coaching course that we've been going through. And I thought like it was great, but like I was just looking in the chat and there's 600 people on that call and 300 of them are like, what the heck are they doing? Like, that's when I really realized like, okay, we need to like dial this way back to the very beginning and like start at the very beginning and train people like the very foundational like skills. And that's part of what I realized, like also going through this AI course with Tony Robbins, is the first two, probably the first three modules, I was like, I could totally just skip this. Like, I do not need to go through this, but I forced myself to go through it. I actually learned like some foundational skills that 100% helped me in building, these robust tools that I built, like these complicated agents that are like scraping data and these other agents that are working alongside the agent that's scraping data to then generate content. Like I definitely learned like very foundational skills on those modules that I was like literally a second away from skipping. I would say like the best thing to do is like look at yourself and like honestly put yourself on a scale. Like, where are you at, those three broker types, and like be very, very honest. Like, I mean, you said yourself, you think you're in that dabbler stage, like you're probably a little bit above that, but like, yeah, dial it back and then start at the very beginning. And I think like the one thing I was going to say about Gary is like, he mentioned like, if you're already thinking about learning it, you're ahead.
Yeah.
Like you're already ahead, and like find peace in that. Don't get overwhelmed. And I'd say that was like the biggest piece of advice that I took from that call with him yesterday. It's like, just start. And I couldn't agree more. And like one of the use cases I was going to use was just like, some of the things that you can kind of really see an immediate benefit from is like, let's say your client calls and says, I got quoted half a point lower at TD or RBC or whatever. Like it's happening all the time. Like your stomach drops. You've already done the full deal. The full picture is more complicated, but you've got literally 30 seconds to respond before they think you're scrambling. And like the old way, like the current way for most, it's like they pull up the competitor's rate sheet, they manually compare the features, try to remember their penalty structure, draft a response, takes 20 minutes, maybe takes the day until they get that response back, and it's too late, like they're gone. You look at that same scenario and like consider AI. So you paste that scenario into a prompt that you have, like your objection prompt is what I call it. And in 60 seconds, you get a total cost of borrowing breakdown, a feature comparison, of the prepayment, the portability, the penalty structure, and professional response that positions the full picture in your tone. And if you're busy in a meeting, your assistant has that same prompt and writes that in your tone and sends it from your email. Like, just think of that one example. It's like so many people like will just walk away for a rate like that. And you know what? 50 basis points, like, geez, like there's not a whole lot you can do to potentially win that deal from a value perspective. But I include in my objection prompt, like, I'm going to manage this mortgage for life. When there's an opportunity to drop your rate, middle of your term, I'm going to call you to save you money, and your bank's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And like, that's all stuff that's now included in this prompt. And that's just generated within 30 seconds and in their inbox. Like, as a client, you'd be like, holy smokes, like, wow. And again, you could have wrote that same email probably just as good, but it would have taken you 20, 30 minutes to put it together, and it would have happened at the end of the day, and it would have been too late is the main point. And your assistant would have never been able to do that for you.
Yeah, I think this is all breaks down to like you're getting speed of response, a very quick response that's going to highlight what you're going to do that's going to be different from a quote that they received or potential other avenues that mortgage may take them. And that speed of response where you're not having to sit and sift through everything to craft it, that's also allowing you to start pivoting your conversation over and start building further relationships and going even deeper with the client and locking in that, just even locking in that relational standpoint even more. I know we'll probably continue to touch on this because it's such an important point is efficiency creates time, which creates the ability to build human relationships and human connections. And that is a massive benefit that this whole world's providing.
100%. Like in that case, like the client doesn't just stay with you. Like they're going to be far more confident in you than before the call because you showed them something their bank would never. That's an example of one prompt that I have that I've, saved in a library, what I call the prompt vault. I have 80 prompts in that vault. I put a ton of time into building that and refining it. And like there's whole strategies around how to use that. And that's part of like what I want to make sure our brokers have access to. And in fact, like that's why I put this course together that we're going to be rolling out very soon. The AI course, like, is access to that entire prompt vault and easy access too. It's like you open it up, you click one button and it's copied and you can start to refine them and build them to your tone. And like, there's all sorts of strategy around that we go really, really deep on. And the one thing I would say is like, your bank will never show a client the full cost of borrowing comparison, but you will, and you'll do it within seconds. And like, I think that's where it just becomes a massive game changer. And that one example, to be honest, that's such a low level of actual use case here with AI. And, like if you look at it, it's like every broker I know has a CRM full of ghosts, like leads from 6, 12, 18 months ago who went cold. Like, you should have followed up, but you don't because writing a personalized email to someone that, you haven't talked to in a year feels awkward or takes forever. Like, here's another example, like the AI approach, like you paste their name, when you last spoke, what their situation was, and run a 3-email reactivation sequence. First email is a casual check-in. Second is a market update relevant to their situation. And the third is a soft re-engagement with a specific offer. And like the results here, like a broker I've been working closely with on some of this stuff, he ran this on 40 dead leads in his CRM. Took him about like an hour tops. I think it was like 40 minutes to generate all the emails, all the 3 emails for 40 leads. And he got 11 responses and closed 2 deals from leads that he'd totally written off. Like if you just look at the math on that, 2 deals from 1 hour, like we'll call it 40 minutes of work on leads that he was ignoring anyways. That's the ROI that gets brokers' attention in a big way.
You're just highlighting one particular broker that's gone through that exercise. Like, we're fortunate enough at our company where we have, hundreds of brokers that work with us. But if I think about, the industry in general, and let's hope to God you at least have a CRM at this point. But how many of these ghost leads do you think are actually sitting in the pipelines of mortgage brokers across the country where their clients aren't getting those touch points? And, I would venture to guess if all of us did that same exercise that broker you're speaking about did, they'd likely have similar to the same results.
The prompt vault and the course, like it takes effort. Like you have to put some time into this, but like we're showing you just right here 2 examples of like where you saved hours and hours of time and have a massive ROI on your time, right? Like we look at the Brain, right? The Brain MB, which is another tool that we're going to release to everyone. Like any of our listeners that want that, of course, our Better Way brokers will have access to it immediately. Here's a problem like that you could solve very quickly with a tool like Brain. Like you have a deal, self-employed borrower, 15% down, rental income, 2 years in business. Like which lenders will touch it? So you either know from memory, like of who might do it, or you're going to call your BDMs or spend an hour reading guidelines and, just trying to wrap your head around it. That same scenario with Brain, you type the scenario, get a ranked list of lenders who will do the deal with the specific policy is referenced and any quirks or exceptions, like literally in less than 60 seconds. This is exactly why I built this was like brokers are spending hours every week doing this manually. And like now it takes seconds. And like Ben Cho, who's been on the podcast in our office, like that guy is literally on the phone half the day, rummaging through lender calls to try to find a solution for a deal he's working. Like he won't quit, which is awesome. Any good broker knows that. They've done that every day of their career. And that's the thing, like Brain MB, it's not ChatGPT. It's not Gemini or Claude. It's a purpose-built tool trained on lender policy. And like the AI tools that we're building specifically for mortgage brokers are more powerful than generic AI because they're fully primed and with knowledge base specific to a use case or a problem we're trying to solve.
Your examples are, exactly nailed on to what I would say. Like you think about a broker that is on a team and they're looking for the answer. They're not sure where to send a deal or what a policy is. So they call the leader of the team. Well, the leader of the team is also busy in his or her own book of business. They're in a meeting perhaps, and it takes an hour, hour and a half to get back to you. Well, you want to get that answer right away because you need to service a client right away, but you have to wait for your lead to get you the answer. Or the exact same scenario with a BDM. I mean, I think our BDMs are best in class, best in the industry, and they do an excellent job with service and getting back to our brokers and providing all of the value. But let's call a spade a spade. Their role is to be in meetings, meeting with mortgage brokers, talking about the products. So if you need that answer right away, chances are your busy BDM is going to be in a meeting and not going to be able to get back to you right away. This tool will allow you to jump in and get that answer you need within seconds. And I mean, you might still want to have conversations with the BDM as an example, but now you're going into that a lot more armed because you have the policy right in front of you. You could go a little bit deeper on the questions, but this specifically, get it in, get the information, move on, and get to your client. Speed of response, it always is going to win you the relationships and inevitably, hopefully, overall the deal.
Hey, quick break from the show. And before we get back into it, I want to tell you about something I'm really proud of. We've just launched a free 5-part webinar series through Mortgage Masters Canada. If you're a mortgage broker in Canada and you've ever felt like you're doing everything yourself, working nights, working weekends, and still can't seem to break through to the next level, this series was built for you. It's called the Canadian Perfect Loan Process. It's the exact system that Derek Williamson and I used to scale our book of business to $500 million in just 1 year. And we're giving it away completely free. 5 sessions, real systems, lead generation, outreach, tech stack delegation, alternative lending, no fluff, no sales pitch, just the playbook. The series is running right now. Sessions are every 2 weeks, so there's still time to jump in and catch the next one live. Head to mortgagemasters.ca, that's mortgagemasters.ca, and register. It takes 10 seconds. Your name and your email, and you're in for all 5 sessions. All right, let's get back to it. We realize like these tools, like the more and more AI is moving and progressing, most people will be able to build something like that. I would say in 18 months, like it'd be fairly easy to build something like that for pretty much any broker. And like, we're not trying to build these things to be profitable. Like we want to help our agents. We want to help the industry, get better and use these tools. And so anyone that's listening, brainmb.ai, anyone can try right now. So like, we'll put the link in the show notes, but brainmb.ai, we're going to make it free. So there is an entire rate dashboard there. So like just like Lender Spotlight or Discovery, you can search any rate in the country based on the lender and it's all there. So you can just use that piece right away for free. Lender policy. So all lender policy is in a library as well. Anyone could jump on there and look at it, search through that for free. So this is where it costs us money to use this tool. So, and this is where a lot of people aren't quite up to speed on how, the AI industry works. So most folks are probably paying a monthly subscription for ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever they use. And as you start to use AI in a more, agentic way, like I guess common terms, a powerful way, you pay per use. So you pay for tokens or credits, depending on what company you're working with. And that's where it starts to cost money. So when you start to use the tool, the actual brain tool, and ask it questions and it provides you responses to what we, just demonstrated here, that's where it starts to cost money. So we're going to give away 5 queries a month for free to anyone listening. So you sign up, you get access to like the rates and the policy, like I said, and then you can go to the Brain MB chat and ask 5 questions a month and get 5 responses back for free. Beyond that, we'll have packages that you can pay for. And that's just based on the token. So one query is a question and a response. And then, once you exceed 5, you would then have to pay for those queries. It's going to be very reasonable. Like we're talking maybe $20 to $50 maximum a month to basically ask it as many questions as you want. Any of our Better Way agents will have access to 10 queries a month for free.
Rates, policies. But the other beautiful thing about this is we're recording this from British Columbia. There's a toggle for province by province as well. So you can pick which province and which location you're in, and it'll pull up the specific rates and policies based on your province of the deal that you're searching for.
Yeah. So like you don't have to use this AI function. You can just, use the lender policy, just very similar to Lender Spotlight, how you search up policies and whatnot. And again, like, I want to give Lender Spotlight all the credit. Like they were like the pioneer of this, and like we wouldn't even, have the concept of this tool without Lender Spotlight. And, they have an AI function to theirs, and they released it, I think like sometime around this time last year. And what I just found with it is it just wasn't intelligent. The AI piece of it, it's not intelligent. Like one cool thing about Brain is when you ask it a question, if you think it's incorrect or inaccurate, and it might be from time to time, there's a toggle to actually tell it it's incorrect or come back to it. Like it will save all of your queries as conversations, just like any ChatGPT chat. You have all your chats saved on the side. It's going to save all your queries on the side as well. So you might ask it like a question and it tells you, Chip Mortgage is the solution here. And then you go and submit the deal to Chip and it doesn't get approved. Well, you can go back to that conversation and tell it this deal was declined, and it will learn from that. It's actually going to learn and correct course, or it will push feedback back to you like it shouldn't have been declined for these reasons. And in the back end, we've created an agent that's essentially like monitoring all of these approves and decline notes or inaccurate notes that we get from our users. And we're actually going to be generating reports that are going to go back to lenders and say, hey, your policy here has been declined 40% based on our users. Might want to look at your policy and maybe make some adjustments here. So not necessarily is the Brain MB wrong. Your policy is not actually getting approved here based on this response. And, like, who knows what that does or where that goes, but just some cool stuff to, one, keep Brain from like learning and progressing and being, intelligent, but also like holding our lenders accountable to like actually be, funding what they say they're going to be funding.
I played around with this and I looked at, I've compared it to policy and all that. And I mean, everything seems fairly consistent and fairly accurate. And, the scenarios that you're mentioning, I don't really see that happening a lot or prominently, but it was pretty cool. Like it kind of goes back to one of your earlier comments about teaching AI yourself. You're actually teaching them and feeding more information, and the more queries that are going through it, the more sophisticated that the brain overall becomes. And then, I'm sure in short time, every kind of rebuttal or question or back and forth dialogue is going to be tracked to where this thing is running at a very, very efficient pace. I think it's already there, but...
Yeah, and then like anyone that like I would say is in that operator level of AI advancement would know that Claude currently is probably the most powerful, useful AI company, and that's Anthropic's AI. It's incredible. I don't really have many more words other than it's just absolutely incredible. That's what's powering this agent. It's powered by Claude Opus 4.5, so like the most powerful model. Again, it's just extremely intelligent, like even before the context. And now it's just loaded with only lender policy context. And where that's going to go is, so we already have a working concept where that's actually like pretty much underwriting deals now. Like we're going to have a module that will release, once we refine it and teach Brain a bit more, but it will actually, you could push a deal into there from Velocity and it will underwrite it and provide you with 3 solutions. And you could pick solution 1 or 2 or 3, and it will like push back like the right underwriting data back into the mortgage request information and, refine the application based on what you need. So like that's the next level. And like, that's not far away. Like I'm talking maybe a month tops. And we have that like in operation and shipped to our team. Again, I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole with this stuff. Like this is probably going to end up being a little bit of a longer episode just to cover some of this stuff because like, again, and like that's what I said to Gary on his AI training. Like it's just not an hour topic. We'll definitely continue to have more AI episodes. Like we've actually talked about doing like an AI series. And there's a lot of other cool stuff that we've built and shipped already that we want to share with our listeners and our brokers. But one thing I wanted to touch on is like where this course really comes into play is like we're talking about, being efficient with your admin, building out marketing campaigns. Like I built out an entire 30-day marketing calendar with all the content fully built out with 2 prompts. And like that's the type of stuff where we get into the nitty-gritty and actually show you how to use that, give you the prompts, give you the tools to actually build that. But one thing that's come up a lot and a lot of people's concern is like the compliance angle. It's like, what is safe here? Like this is what really separates like a serious training tool, like module course from like YouTube tutorials as an example. And like, here's the thing, like nobody talks about when they hype AI for financial services is there are things AI must never do. And so we came up with the 8 red lines. Like these are the 8 things like you must not have AI do. Number 1, rate quotes. Like don't have AI quote rates. 2, income qualification calculations. So I just talked about like brain going to be underwriting. Like you still have to have a verification layer to this stuff. Like this is supposed to be a guide and speed up your process and give you tools and solutions to consider, but you have to be the verification layer. Credit decisions, legal advice, regulatory filings, identity verification, insurance calculations, disclosure documents. Like these are things that you have to have a human verification layer to. And like the key point here is like AI doesn't run amortization formulas. Like what it does is it guesses from patterns. So it gives you plausible numbers that are often wrong. What I would suggest for anyone right now is take out your mortgage calculator, like your My Toolbox app or the Canadian Mortgage app. Take it out, put a mortgage in there on a 3-year fixed payment for 25-year amortization, put it in there, and then put that same question into ChatGPT, and I guarantee you're going to get a different number, maybe off by $10, $15. And so like if you send a client a rate quote that AI generated, like you own that number, and it might be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything, right? Like if you're going to quote something, it's very challenging to say it's AI's fault.
It's not going to be acceptable, right?
It's not going to be acceptable. And then what are you going to have? You're going to have a pissed off client that's got a misquoted rate, and you're going to have to make that right somehow. So I think one of the things that I know we all know, but as the efficiency just gets to the way it is and we want to move at a faster pace, we have to understand that we also need to step back and do our jobs and make sure we're verifying the information that we're using is just a guide. And now you looking at brain and all this, like comparing rates, they are accurate, but you also want to make sure that you're doing that double check because you don't want to own a misquote and trying to blame it on an AI. It's the same thing as you can't blame the bank. You got to figure out where the problem happened. It's just not going to be an acceptable comment going forward.
So this course we started, the Mortgage Professional AI course. We created a company called 10th Degree AI. We've hired engineers to help us develop a lot of these tools and ship them, more, accurately and quicker to our team and the market. But one thing I just want to touch on, we go deep into this in our AI course, is like the green, yellow, and red frameworks. And we have a whole module around compliance and safety and prompts to refine and be your filter. But like, here's a couple quick examples. So green equals AI drafts freely. So like you give full autonomy to AI based on the prompts and what you train it to do. So that would be emails, marketing, notes. Yellow, which is like, things that you want to have oversight and approval on. AI can assist, but you verify. So that would be rate communications, lender summaries, some of the qualification stuff. And then red, which is what we just went through, those 8 items, like AI should never make the final call on any of those, ever. That will probably never change, to be totally honest with you. That's where we do have jobs forever. You shouldn't be scared that AI is going to replace us. This is where AI is going to replace the people that aren't using it, the brokers that are. So in module 7 in the course, it's entirely about this because brokers who get burned by AI are the ones who never learned where the lines are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the scary angle from learning all this is really figuring out where those lines are and how they cross over and how to make sure you're protecting yourself by understanding how this information is coming to you. And, that's all kind of the stuff from the mechanical side of it that we want to teach on and train on this course to make sure that all of you are well prepared for being able to understand where these lines could cross over and could put you at risk if you're not doing your own proper human due diligence.
Yeah, totally. Kind of moving forward. So, like a big piece that we've been pushing on, we're actually doing another podcast on this very soon. But, for those of our listeners and our brokers would know, like we totally revamped our perfect loan process, the Canadian perfect loan process. We've been training on this regularly. We released a full course, a free course, 9 modules on the full PLP, 5 modules on the PLP Lite, which is, a lighter version for somebody that's looking to make their first hire. And it's been refined with AI and tools that we've used because we did a series on this 2 years ago. We've totally refined it with some of the tools and the tech stack that we have at our disposal today. So what we've done now is we're about to release an AI coaching tool to support the CPLP for folks that want to implement it and folks that want to track their progress on it. This AI coach is essentially going to keep you accountable, help you understand the nuances between the PLP, how you can refine it to your own process. Like you don't have to follow this process framework like verbatim, like you can make it your own. This AI coach will help you with that. We have 70 plus email templates and scripts embedded throughout that course. This AI coach will refine all those emails, change them to your tone, change the name and change your company name throughout them and deploy them all to you in one package. There's a very robust dashboard that you can track everything you have in your business when it comes to what are your goals. So like the coach will go through about a 25-minute discussion with you to build your business plan, very deep business plan. And it will take all your responses from that conversation and build a dashboard custom to you. You said you did 100 mil last year and you want to do 125 million this year. You said you did 10 million last year, you want to do 25 million this year. It will build out a whole target for the year, broken down into the day and the activities you need to do each day. It has a daily check-in tracker. You can go in, check in every day, check off that you made 5 calls to realtors, 3 to financial planners, 2 to past clients, how many leads you got from that, how many funded deals you got from that, to approvals, to applications, and keep you accountable right along the way. It will remind you like ongoing to make these activities happen, like really help you guard that prospecting time and follow through. It's an amazing tool that we literally built this AI agent, again, powered by Claude, that's like entire knowledge base is the perfect loan process. And this is something that we're going to be rolling out to our students as well and all of our brokers that are taking the PLP. So this is, again, these are things that I'd love to be able to give this for free. That's why we try to give everything away for free as much as we can. Like that's why the whole course is free. But a tool like this, it costs money to use it because of tokens. So, queries. So we will be charging for this, but we're going to put like a very clean package together that would include access to the PLP coach, access to the AI course, access to more queries on Brain. Like we're going to put it all together and bundle it all together so you can get this for as cheap as possible. We'll have that all going out very soon. So if anyone's listening or is interested in that, any of what we're talking about, like reach out for sure. We will definitely make sure you have first access to it. And the last thing I'll say on that is we are going to do a scholarship plan. So 5 of our students that are going through Mortgage Masters, the webinar series we're doing, and Perfect Loan Process, we're going to give 12 months free for all of this. 5 people are going to get all of this for free. We're going to eat the cost on that. Or in return, we just want to ask you to keep us, apprised of your feedback, help us make it better, help us, spotlight this wherever we can, like follow your journey. If you're implementing the perfect loan process, we'd love to follow your journey and, document it and see where you are today to where you are at the end of the year. Those are the types of things that, we want to do to be able to give back and get this to as many people as possible for as low as cost as possible.
I'm super excited about where we're at with Mortgage Masters and the CPLP. We're just stepping into session 3 of Mortgage Masters next week, which enough brings kind of the human element to the AI with strategic outreach and building trust with your clients, your referral partners, which is going to be massively important, as we all know. But, the feedback that Dean, Derek, and I have got from this course so far has been overwhelmingly positive. We're tracking people that are currently moving through either the PLP Lite or the full PLP models. And, some of the feedback that I've been getting in this from people is, this is great and I'm going through it. Do you guys work with any coaches and kind of how does that work? And how can that help me implement and really go deeper on some of these sessions? And, we definitely have coaches and we're building in this AI piece where it is a personal coach that's holding you accountable. It knows your numbers. It knows where you're tracking to. It knows where you're standing from, a trend perspective. Even in my tenure before all of this stuff, obviously business coaches have provide tremendous amount of value, but a massive component about it is it's somebody that you're accountable to. Like if I'm going to go and meet my business coach, I better come with the numbers and I better come showing him or her that I'm trending towards that plan. And this is almost going to hold you accountable because it's tracking you through the full process and really showing you, where you're excelling, where maybe you're declining and maybe you need to put some more focus into. So, everything just right in front of that dashboard. I'm a visual person myself, so I like to kind of see where I'm trending. If I could picture myself going through some sort of a roadmap. And then obviously the constructive part, like where do I have to put some more focus and where do I have to kind of move and retwig things to get to where I want to go? All of this stuff, I think, is just going to be very powerful for any broker that, A, wants to learn this world, but B, also wants to grow a great business. And, all of us here are professional and we want to grow a great business. We want to help our consumer. We want to do well. We want to make sure that we're allocating our time, our knowledge, our resource into making ourselves better. And that's really inevitably the goal is how do we make you or help you get better and achieve the goals that you want to achieve? And that's why we're building these courses and bringing this out to you.
Yeah. And it's like, one thing I didn't touch on is, you just mentioned coaching and staying accountable. It's like, I'm a big believer in a coach, still pay for one to this day. Spent a ton of money and resources on coaching. Like, I was telling the group yesterday that came on the breakout session from our Mortgage Masters webinar. Like I paid $60,000 a year to learn the perfect loan process. And we're giving it out for free. Like take advantage of that. Like it's pure gold. Like we didn't build that. We refined it from like literally the GOAT in the mortgage industry, Tim Brahim. Like that's what they call him in the US is the GOAT, the mortgage GOAT. And like he built the perfect loan process, built careers of some of the like hands down the biggest producers. Like I was talking to Ryan Grant the other day, big producer in the States. Guy funds $3.2 billion a year through his own practice, like not a brokerage, like that's his own practice, like pretty substantial. And it's built on the perfect loan process framework. So like it's free, it's there, use it. Highly recommend a coach. This isn't supposed to like, swipe out a coach, but if you're short on cash or you just having a hard time like making an investment like that, like this is a great first step. You can even role play with this thing. Like you can call it and role play your scripts with it and it will give you feedback as if it's a client. Like it's pretty incredible like what that tool is going to become. So that's the piece on the perfect loan process we really want to touch on. 2 courses, the full 9-module CPLP and then the 5-module PLP, video lessons, quizzes, downloadable resources, everything we ever used or built, scripts, role play scenarios, everything is there. That's the perfectloanprocess.ca. And we have over 100 active students going through that right now. And we've had over 350 brokers go through the 2 webinars that we just hosted, whether it's on PostView or live, and just some excellent feedback there. So definitely want to make sure everyone's aware of that. Like, we're reading this book right now. What's it called? The Road of the Less Stupid?
The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham.
Yeah. He made a comment like he's trying to see what he can't see, something like that. But it's like, hey, here, we're putting this out there. We want to make sure everyone sees this. Like, if you haven't seen it, go check it out now. Like this is what you're missing if you're not trying to level up and scale or if, like everything's here. And one thing I wanted to say about the business plan, you might have no interest in rolling out the perfect loan process. You might have a perfect process of your own. This CPLP dashboard, this coaching dashboard, it's a game changer. Like I used to pay for these planner books that were called Win by Noon. Todd Bookspan used to sell us these books, Win by Noon. I think we paid $200 every quarter for these notepads. The PLP coaching dashboard is literally like the Win by Noon paper planner, on steroids. And the whole point of that planner is to just, when you write it down, you're accountable to write it down, you get these things done. But now not only are we accountable to putting these things into the daily check-in calendar, but now we have data that we can go look back on and make decisions on and like refine. It's like, hey, I made 5 calls to realtors, every day for the last 3 months, and I only got X amount of deals from it. And I got, 150% more deals from the clients I called. Well, hey, maybe we should call more clients and realtors if that's the learning from that. Like that's one thing I wouldn't have got from those planners because it's written down, it's in the planner. That's it. So I highly recommend checking this out.
Totally agree. And just a replay on that book, The Road Less Stupid, Keith Cunningham, Gary Morris brought that up in his Goal Getter call. Was it Goal Getter? No, it was in another call we had with him, but just yesterday. I'm only admittedly 4 chapters in, but so far incredible. So I definitely take a look at that. Apparently it was very influential in his repertoire of books. He's a voracious reader, as he says, and that one stands out to him. So I'd take a look at that if you can.
Yeah, excellent book. So I guess just to kind of try to wrap this up quick is like the 9 steps I would look at here. So referring to the PLP coach. So current state snapshot, the AI asks you for your production numbers, revenue, mortgage mix, then it cross-checks your math. So if you say you did 50 mil in 120 deals, it knows the average is 416K and it asks if that's right. It does some target setting, so growth targets with scenario modeling. The agent runs the numbers for you. So if you want to go from 50 mil to 70 mil, here's what that means in deals per month. Strategic goals, so your top 3 to 5 goals beyond just volume. So the agent makes you quantify each one. The business source breakdown, so reverse engineer where your deals need to come from to hit these targets. 5 is the revenue generating activities, so the weekly behavioral targets. The agent builds your realtor engine math or your financial planner engine math. 6, database and referral engine. So optimize your existing database, define who owns what. 7, the SWOT analysis, which I love this piece. Honest diagnostic. The agent identifies your top 3 opportunities and top 3 risks. System and process rating. So this makes you rate 8 areas of your operations, 1 to 5. Capacity check. Are you even set up to hit these targets? And then number 9, the 90-day focus plan. So top 3 priorities with specific weekly actions. So the agent doesn't just collect your answers, it pushes back, it does the math in real time. If your targets don't line up with your capacity, it'll tell you. It thinks like a CEO coach. That's how it's trained. It's the brain of a CEO coach. So what you get when it's done, a full business plan stored in the dashboard, annual goals automatically tracked, quarterly milestones broken into priorities and actions, a 90-day action plan with checkable tasks, weekly task auto-generated from your plan, a subscriber dashboard with daily check-ins, streak tracking, pipeline funnel, progress rings, smart alerts, SWOT grid, weekly scorecards. So think of this like the CPLP teaches you the mortgage process, the agent coach helps you build the business plan to execute it. And then it tracks you against that plan every single day. And so the daily system, daily check-in, log leads, applications, files funded, revenue, activity tracking, prospecting calls, realtor meetings, follow-ups, social media posts, email campaigns, open houses, the weekly scorecard. Are you on pace for your annual targets? Smart alerts, so the system tells you when you're falling behind, when streaks break, when pipeline needs attention.
Basically, it's you've got your own coach that, as I said before, it knows all your numbers, all your data, every goal you want to achieve, where you're at and trending towards that. And it's creating the plan and the schedule for you to go implement and make it happen.
And it lives right inside the platform that you're already using for training if you're going through the process. And it's not another login, it's not another app. It's the same platform with an AI layer on top. So this is launching very soon. So next week, if you want early access, reach out to us. The existing CPLP students will get first access. So if you're not taking the course, take the course. It's free. We're not exactly sure what the pricing is going to look like yet. We're just trying to figure that out based on queries and how this is all going to work. But we will have a bundle package with the AI course and Brain MB to access all the AI queries on Brain MB. So yeah, so this includes unlimited AI coaching conversations, the full business planning agent, the subscriber dashboard with all the tracking tools and floating AI chat coach available on every page of the platform. Okay, so just to kind of try to wrap this up, I know we're going over time here. There's a lot to cover. I think we got most of this, but I just want to quickly touch on the AI course and, what and who and what's included there. So 10th Degree AI, our AI company that we've put together here to help us build these tools. So this is the Mortgage and Lending AI Mastery course. There's 48 video lessons across 9 modules. So over 10 plus hours of training here, not theory. Every lesson ends with something you build, send, or use. The prompt vault, there's 83 mortgage-specific prompts organized by category. So client communication, marketing, loan analysis, operations, compliance, team management, country supplements for Canadian and US brokers. So this is built for US loan officers as well. And it's specific to what country you're in. 12 months of the Brain MB Pro will be included here. And who's it for? So brokers who are already busy and want to get more done without working more hours. Agents on teams who want to level up individual production. Team leads who want to systematize their team's AI usage. So if you tried AI and thought this doesn't work for mortgages, you're exactly who this is for. Because you were right, generic AI doesn't work for mortgage. Mortgage-specific AI does. I built this because I kept getting asked, how do you do that? Like constantly brokers are asking me, how did you do that? Well, the answers are, they're long and it's in this course. All you need to do is reach out any which way, LinkedIn, DM, email, respond to wherever I've sent you a message last, reach out and we'll make sure this gets to you. Think of it this way. CPLP teaches you how to run the perfect loan process. 10th degree AI teaches you how to use AI to run it faster. And then the agent coach tracks your business plan to make sure you're actually executing. So there's 3 layers of the same exact system.
Just before we wrap, I'm going to take us back full circle to one of the original segments we were on, Skeptic, Dabbler, or Operator. I can assume many are in the Dabbler phase. And what I envision this Dabbler phase being is, do I use ChatGPT? Do I use Gemini? Am I using Claude? What do I do? Am I YouTubing how to make things work? How do I build this into my mortgage business? What does this mean for me? What's a GPT? What's a gem? Like all of these things that we're all trying to tie together and not just figure out AI, but figure out AI for my life as a mortgage broker. And this is specifically what that is built for, is for you as a mortgage broker to learn it, to understand it, and to implement it. We don't want you to have to go to multiple different platforms and try to learn through YouTube videos and try to, Google or, piecemeal messages to this person or that person to ask the who, why, or the what. This is specifically built from ground level basic to Operator. I've gone through it. I've looked at it. I've seen it. I'm super excited. I'm going to go through it myself in full detail, starting from the very, very first module. And I'm going to go right to the end. And, hopefully we all circle back in the next, 6 to 12 months. And, that Dabbler phase has gone to, 95% operators. And if that happens, we're all going to be better for it. The sky's the limit for what we can all achieve.
Yeah. And so to wrap up, so I'm going to do a free live session where I demo 5 of these workflows live. So this is the AI webinar we're going to host. So no slides, just me and the tools. It's going to be called Your First 5 AI Wins as a Mortgage Broker. So we'll put the link in the show notes to Mortgage Masters. If you're already a member of Mortgage Masters, again, the free webinar platform that we've deployed about a couple months ago. If you're already set up there, you're going to get access to the webinar right away. But if you haven't, go there. We'll put it in the show notes. Just looking forward to seeing everyone progress and stay ahead of the curve here. So yeah, really looking forward to everyone, working through this. Reach out if you need help. And if you're already a CPLP student, watch your inbox. The agent coach is launching soon and you'll be the first to know. And if you're not in the CPLP yet, perfectloanprocess.ca. Get in now so you're ready when the AI layer drops. And that's pretty much it for me.
We'll see you all next Wednesday for the 3rd session of Mortgage Masters, Art of Strategic Outreach. Yeah, I guess I'll steal your line. On to the next.
Sorry, one thing I did want to say, we don't say this enough. Subscribe, leave us a review, follow us on social. That's really what means the most to us. If you think we're doing a good job, leave us a review. It's all we can ask for. And we really appreciate everyone listening. So yeah, on to the next. I'll take that one back.
I knew you would.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this show, please subscribe to our channel on your preferred platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Your support is incredibly appreciated. We also welcome your reviews and feedback, which are crucial in helping us deliver outstanding educational content. Feel free to share your thoughts. A 5-star review would be fantastic if you think we earned it.
Now, a message about something that means a great deal to us and to everyone at A Better Way Mortgage Group. City Reach Care Society is our chosen charity partner for 2026. For over 20 years, City Reach has been serving thousands of vulnerable individuals, children, and families across Greater Vancouver. They call themselves the Hope Business. When you see what they do, you'll understand why. Through their Food for Families program, City Reach provides fresh, nutritious groceries to over 4,500 people every single month. They partner with 54 schools across Vancouver, Surrey, and the Tri-Cities to make sure kids have access to food, hygiene supplies, and the support they need to thrive. Every August, their Back to School Blast puts backpacks filled with school supplies into the hands of 1,000 children heading back to the classroom.
Here's what makes your support go even further. Every single dollar donated to City Reach translates into $10 worth of food for families in need. You can learn more, donate, or sign up to volunteer at cityreach.org. That's CITYREACH.org. Once again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.